at the moment, you've got both businesses and consumers being very, very cautious, and they're reducing their expenditures very rapidly. I think one of the first things that is going to happen is just the pace of that decline will moderate. And so we'll go from things falling very sharply to sort of stabilizing. That will be one of the processes of stabilization. Another part of the stabilization will be in financial markets. I think it's essential that you get some sort of recovery in financial markets as part of the recovery process. To some extent, you've seen hints of that already. For example, since the Fed's move last week, you've seen a pretty good rally in various credit markets, and that's an important element of this. So I think the other thing I think you're going to see as sort of one of the early signs for the economy starting to recover is some sort of recovery in financial markets. You know, to some extent, I don't think it's going to be any one sector. Ultimately, consumption is the most important, part of the economy, and partly what's driving the downturn is this increase in savings that's slowing down consumption. Unless that process moderates, you're not going to get a recovery. And so to a certain extent, those broad elements of consumption are probably going to be important. One of the areas that has gone down the most is durable consumption, things like automobiles. And frankly, those things have gone down so far. Until those things stabilize and start to turn, I think you're not going to get a recovery. So in many ways, it's going to be some of those sectors that have sort of gone down the most that are probably going to be the ones that are going to come back. I would expect retailing to be something that actually, once consumption starts to normalize, to come back, and that's probably something you'll see lead us the way out. But it's not like there's some obvious, thing that's going to sort of pull us out. It's going to be a lot of things. Our expectation is the household savings rate is going to go from essentially 0 up to about 5%. If you look back in history, the highest level of savings you saw on a sustained basis in the United States was around 10%. So essentially, our forecast assumes that you sort of reverse about half of this decline which you saw over a very long period of time in the household savings rate. I think that's a reasonable forecast based on history, based on what's happened to household wealth. But that's an important question.